Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Expanded View, episode number 16, today on January the 11th, 2021. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your co-host, Laura Canfield, along with my good friend, Kimberly Crow.
Hi.
All right. How is everybody doing today? It's a new week. It's Monday. It's almost time for the new moon of January, the first new moon of 2021, right?
Yeah, first new moon to set for your beginnings. And it's a new moon in Capricorn, which whatever you can do for yourself to create stability in your life in a world that is absolutely batshit crazy right now. What can you do to stabilize yourself, create your own security, and nurture yourself?
Right.
So anything that you can do for yourself to support yourself in that way is we're in, the perfect timing of that, because there's a lot of energies going on with the planet, and humanity is acting them out. They are the players on the stage, and they're in total alignment with what the planets have been showing. And they're like little puppets, and they're, actually, it's almost like the rays are hitting them and they're doing the thing, and then they don't even know what happened to them. So if you're prepared and you know this, then you can create your own stability. And when the thing we talk about all the time is use your breath.
Use your breath, breathe.
Have it
And
with you.
so it's about finding your stability, finding that the stability within yourself, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting. This morning when I woke up a long time ago, I knocked over my water glass with my phone as I was taking it off the night table. I knocked over the water glass. It fell and crashed all over the floor. Broke into 1,000 pieces. But what was funny is like it didn't faze me one bit. It's like I was perfectly fine. I was like, all right, whatever, it happens, right? So normally, or in the past, that would have been like, oh God, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And now everything is gonna go wrong. Nope, it was like I was fine. It's like, okay, cool. I guess so I just told Neo, don't go down there, stay here. Don't, whatever, right?
Yeah, right. So to make stability for him.
Yeah. So it was like absolutely not even a big deal. Normally, right, in the past, it would have been like, oh my God, what happened? Now my whole day is gonna be shot and blah blah blah. No, it was like, all right, cool, it happens.
Yesterday, I was getting ready to go do my membership group. And so I do meditation before to see what I'm going to, what's coming in on the group. And as soon as I sat down, I heard, go take a shower. And I was like, I don't want to take a shower. I don't need to take a shower. I don't have time for that right now. And I heard really strong, stern, go take a shower. And when I did, I could feel debris that I had no idea was in my energy field, and I could just feel it cleansing off of me. And then it was this huge expansion. And I was like, wham, already in a whole different, I'm going to say, mind construct, because I wasn't here. I was in a huge expansion. I was in the expanded view. It was like in a whole different place of that. And the information that I got at this time was that use the water right now to really, cleanse yourself with any of the debris and if you can't go jump in water somewhere, that if it's not there, to breathe, ground into earth, and visualize like a waterfall, cleansing out your field, because there's and it's just going to help stabilize everything, because there's so much going on right now. And even if we've worked on all kinds of our own triggers and all kinds of stuff within, there's still, debris. It's what they told me was to stay in my own lane. And that it's like driving down the interstate, and the cars in front of you are throwing trash out. And then they're just like throwing it out and you're behind them and it's coming at you. and to just stay focused and stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
And that's the most stability that you can bring to yourself right now. So if that happened, what would you do? You might turn your windshield wipers on and let a little water come up and clear
Exactly.
the
To
debris
clear it.
off as it comes at you.
Yeah.
But that was the image that they showed me, and dropping into our own heart, and that our light body is within our own heart. And then when we connect to that heart light, then from there we expand it out, and then we can spin all of that out of our field. If we try to go out into the expansion right now, because of there's a square coming up with Uranus and where Mars moved into Taurus, and Mars is that warrior energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it moved in to Taurus, and then there's a square that's getting ready to come up with the two of those, and with that Capricorn energy too. So it's that more expansion of the structures, and Uranus is the rebel. I'll fly my freak flag. It's like, here I am ready to be out there showing it all to everybody. So that energy is going to be, it's squared. So when it's squared, it's squared off to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't, that's where I have thrown myself so much into astrology in the last month. It's just amazing to me that you can literally watch the trends happening in humanity's mind, that it's like, and it's, this time has been set for a long, long time.
And so it can help you become more aware of what's going on, right?
Right. And then you're more stable, because it's like, oh, okay, well, it's like, so, they all in everything has a beneficial and a malefic. I never can say that word. It's like a word I don't want to say. I guess a good or bad energy to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So connect to what's beneficial in it and utilize that energy.
Exactly.
How can you utilize this for yourself? What's the stability that you want to create, and how to you can do little simple things that can bring that into your life, which I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but I don't want to keep sounding, it's just, facts that are happening in the world. The Nashville bombing that happened in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm only an hour from Nashville. It happened on Christmas Day. There was a bombing that nobody got hurt, thank God, but it blew up a lot of things. And it took out the AT&T tower. That was what they were doing. They were doing it intentionally it was the big AT&T building that's there.
Oh, wow.
And they were doing it intentionally for that reason. They believed they were saving the world from 5G. Okay. So it was that kind of energy. And so people are in this place that they really believe what they're doing is they're saving people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they truly do. There's a part of them that their mind really believes that is what they're doing, that they're driven with that.
And you can't fault them for that. You can't fault them for wanting to help and save humanity.
They truly believe that is exactly what they're doing. And as we've talked before, all the realities are real. It depends on where you dial your consciousness into.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of those scenarios is out there because it's in humanity's mind. So you decide, it's just like watching television, which station you want to watch tonight. It's like, that's it. It's like, you're going to watch the comedy, the horror movie, which one are you going to watch? And anyway,
watch and participate in, right?
Or participate. It's which one are you going to just be back here and just go, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Observe. There's a difference in that observant energy and what are you going to react to and what are you going to create, the energy of that. But anyway, just because of that, I'm like 54 miles from Nashville, but that's where that's the service that I'm on, my phone and my computer. And I was totally knocked out. I didn't have any service in any way for 4 or 5 days.
Oh, wow.
And and it's still weird. I was going to tell you all day yesterday, it was like, I can't have like multiple pages open at once. Like, it's still doing weird things. It's still not. And I checked my speed and it was still off. So I'm looking at that. It's like I put all my eggs in one basket. I've got my phone and my internet with the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like practical things. Well, what can I do to take care of that? So maybe I should switch my internet service to one of the other internet providers, because they were both in the same basket. And I couldn't even, like, my daughter some way, because we're on the same, phone thing together.
Yeah.
And she could text me, but I couldn't text out. And it took a while before her text even came in. And then I even went to the different coffee shops and stuff, to their parking lot, to see where I could connect at. And finally, a Taco Bell. It's like, finally, in the Taco Bell parking lot, I thought maybe I can connect here. And they had, where you can go, go on the internet. You know what I'm talking about, those free services that fast food places do. Because I was, and who might have that? I knew McDonald's did, because I'd used it traveling before. And I was kind of surprised that Taco Bell had it. And right now, even air places like that, there's no inside dining. You can only do drive-through windows. So, pull up at the thing and talk. And so I was supposed to be babysitting that night, and I was waiting for a time. So every 2 hours, I was driving down to the Taco Bell just to check my text messages. It's only like maybe a block and a half.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that. Well, it may be 2 blocks, but it's just like either I could go this way or this way, and it's just like across the street, and then I can cut. I have a back alley I can go through to get straight to their parking lot. And but at least, how secure that made me feel, knowing that I could go to Taco Bell and still be able to communicate. And then, and what I saw was how addicted I was to the stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think I am, because I don't even own a television. So I think I'm not a part of all of that. Oh no, I was totally like, it's not working.
Well, of course, because that's
get on.
That's how we all communicate now, right? That's how we communicate with everybody.
I was wasting time trying to make it come on, and I knew not to call them because I knew it was crazy. Yeah. And then, and then it's like, so what else can I do with my time? And then even I looked at that to have everything in backup, and like I couldn't, there was lots of things that I thought, well, I could go work on this instead, because I had things I was going to work on, and I couldn't do it that weekend, So why I'm telling you all that, it's not to put fear in you, but to even things like that, how can you make your own world more stable? Because if we've got so dependent on these things, my world didn't used to work that way. And it's like, so what can you do for yourself to be resourceful? And Capricorn energy is all about long-term energy. It's like, okay, like Capricorn will buy quality if it's going to do this for them in 2 years from now.
Right.
Maybe it's like, instead of getting the quick fix right now, it will look at the practicality of stuff and what will this do for me long term. And so it's like, so it's a good time to look at that kind of stuff for yourself, and any kind of energy like that comes up for you that you're feeling unstable in, then go that, it's Capricorn's all about the bones. So like, where do you want to fortify that for yourself?
Yeah.
Where can you, put things in place and have your practical backup plan if it's something that is necessary in your life. So that's the energy, that's what this time period is about, those kinds of things.
Good. It's good to know. And it is good for all of us to really take a look at some of those things, because, that happened to me when I moved here in this new place in November.
Right.
I didn't have internet for like, oh God, I don't know, a week or two. And I had to use the internet on my phone, so it's like I was tethering and all that wonderful stuff, but that's expensive, like to do it that way. But at least I still was able to communicate, right? I didn't have internet on my computers, but I still had it on my phone at least. So then I was still able to communicate. So now I have it on both, but I think it's two different providers, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, after my experience with that, if it's anybody that it is what you have to function in your everyday life for your, your business or whatever it is that you do, if it's things that you need in that way,
Yeah.
you might want to have it split in more than one provider, because that's what from this, it's like, oh, that's what I need to do. I need to look at different options for myself, or, maybe get one of those tower things from another company or something, to look at, which I know it, but I haven't actually done it yet, because I know I can go down to Taco Bell.
Yeah, here I couldn't go anywhere. I mean, like I had it on my
Ryan,
phone, but there's no place.
I know I thought of you, because I did think of you during that, because I knew like you were, when you're out, because I've lived like that too, when I was like out away from stuff, and you don't, have those, it's farther to drive to something.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are some, and with that, because of the Aquarian energy and where we're going into and what we're in, the futuristic, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up with new platforms, futuristic stuff, things like that, that's going to, that we're going to see huge, fast shifts with. Lots of new platforms are going to be coming up. And people that are, like these maps are already made. So now they just got to plug in, they just got to go and create a whole new platform, a whole new system. And we are going to see changes fast in communication, even more so. Because when you think about it, in our lifetime already, how much shift that we've seen in that.
Yeah, it's been huge.
And it's like, and so that is something that is, what we're doing right now is probably won't even be how we'll be doing it anymore. It's like we'll probably just like tap on something and we'll be plugged into everything wherever it is that we are.
Yeah.
It's like we won't even, it's like the difference from going to, the desktop with the towers and everything to the phones.
Yeah.
It's like the difference in that, it's like we're going to be even more untethered.
Yeah.
As the new comes in.
And that's the thing, it's like being open to that change and being, it's like, how can we use it to our advantage, right? Instead of going into fear about it, it's like, oh my God, but like, how can we use it to our advantage, right? Because things are going to change, whether we like them or not. Things are going to change.
Yeah. So if the anxiety, because anxiety is fear of the future.
Yeah.
So if any of those things come up in you, then it's a time for inner reflection of, that we take our own power, and that we move from reaction to creation. That is the reaction may be there, and then how do you take that and turn it into creation? It's like, and that's what yesterday, that's I'm on this lady's show on Thursday, and that's what I'm going to talk about, all this stuff. All about the recreation.
I was going to ask you, what are we talking about on Thursday? I know you sent me an email.
What we're going to talk about is this stuff, because I got all these downloads yesterday, and it's the whole, and we brought it up last week that I said something about the difference between the creation and reaction are the exact same. It's the same letters. They're just rearranged differently. So it's that simple. It's like, okay, so I can rearrange this. I just saw it like, remember Rubik's cubes, and then you just like line them up different. So it's like, okay, it's all here. It's all the same thing. How do I arrange it? So that's energy is there for us. And I had an experience. I did a recording of it that I'm going to talk about this more Thursday too. But I went into like that light that's in our heart, and then from that it's spanning out, and I heard my own tone. And I heard that anytime that if we feel that unstable thing, when we go into our heart, to listen to that tone, listen for it. And I heard it, and it was like silent, but I could hear it at the same time. And like a tuning fork, kind of. It was like that, like how you tuning forks and you can't hear them till you put them to your ear. And it was a hum like that. And the more I focused on that, then suddenly they showed me like it was this chaos energy out there. Sound like nails on a chalkboard. And it was, I could feel it outside of my sphere, but then I just kept expanding mine, and it went bloop. And it like went in me, but I transmuted it. It wasn't like impacting it. it was a whole different kind of, just like it went bloop, and it wasn't irritating me anymore. And Gaia herself showed me that's what she does all the time. That's what she's constantly doing with all of their unclaimed emotional energies that we're discharging all over the place, that what humanity hasn't learned how to stabilize that themselves.
Yeah.
And we're discharging that everywhere. And she just takes it as energy and goes whoop, and then it turns into another creation. Whoop, it turns into another creation. Sometimes it might, in that, she might have a little storm or earthquake, or, you know, something might happen, but it doesn't affect her. It affects us, because it's like, we may not realize it's like, yeah, all of that disturbance in her own meridians and her own templates is coming from air disturbance that humanity is constantly, you know, throwing the trash out the window. And
well,
it
we gotta
doesn't,
throw it somewhere, right?
yeah,
So,
she just goes bloop, new creation, bloop, new creation.
yeah.
You know, whether she splits open and creates a new island, or, you know, it's like, whatever. It's like, yeah.
There's always something new.
Yeah, when you think about all the, you know, like the Hawaiian Islands, or, you know, most islands are perfect examples of that. You know, they're eruptions that turned into an island.
So what can we turn into something beautiful that is maybe chaotic right now in your life, right?
Now, what's your paradise going to be?
Yeah. That's a great question. And as I'm looking at that question, I'm looking at myself and my own chaos in my life right now. And like, you know, how can I, you know, how am I going to turn it into paradise? We'll see when my husband comes home. But I mean, I think that's how you have to look at everything in life. Like how can you, you know, make lemonade from lemons, right? But it's more about being being the creator of your life, not just responding, not just reacting, but actually creating from what is showing up, from the chaos that's showing up. How can you change it to something that works for you?
Yeah.
Right, the best you can.
Right. And that's when we can only do that one step at a time. I mean, you're in a perfect example of that right now, that it's like it's like, this is what you can do. It's like this one step at a time. What's in front of you right now?
Yeah,
Because you
today
don't know what
I'm not having a
right.
very good day today. Obviously, I can tell by my own energy it's a little bit down, right? But it's like, you know, it's not always, right? It's like there are moments, like in, you know, during the day we all go through little waves of, you know, we're up, we're down, we're in between, whatever. But it's like recognizing that too, right? Recognizing what the chaos is, and it's like, okay, I'm not sure how to turn it into something, but I know I have the power too, because I am a creator, right? So recognizing that you are not at the effect of something, you're not at the, like you're not a victim in any way, right? But it's like, all right, sometimes you have to take the time to just adjust to the chaos, to the energies, and, give yourself time, and then change it the best you can, transmute it to something that works for you, right?
Right.
So
When we go in those huge challenges that you're in, that's when we can hit that energy of feeling like we don't have any choice anymore. And we do, in some way. There's always more choices and options. You know, it's like,
yeah,
they may not be the one that we would choose in the moment, but there is another choice there, you know, in some way. And so that is that, really being in your center. And, you know, what is that next creation? What is it that wants to be created from this experience? You know, the closest that I've came to what you're going through is when my partner, I went through stuff with him, and we went to he told me he was getting a tonsillectomy, and they came out and told me that he was going to be in surgery like 6 more hours, and they were doing a radical to him, and that he was in, you know, the stage 4 cancer, and that this was all that they could do. And like, they may even, I mean, I don't want to get gory with it, but it was his throat. So
yeah,
he might not even be able to speak later, and blah, 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 blah. And so he went straight to, you know, the unit. I told my mom that I was going to outpatient surgery and to pick up my daughter for me that day. And they come out and they told me all that. The, the surgeon, which I thought this was, then I saw how biased I was. I thought she was a nurse because it was a woman, came out to talk to me, and she was one of the intern surgeons, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just going, no, we don't do this. I'm a holistic practitioner, and we do not deal with stuff like this. This is not happening. And she literally looked at me and said, we can escort you out of here now. You have no rights to say what's going to happen and what's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? And I mean, I was just like, I didn't think I was being disruptive. I was just stating this is not how we handle this. I'd had him on juicing and blah, 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 all this bunch of stuff. So I was like, I can't deal with this right now. What can I do? I went outside, I grounded, I could feel this tornado around me. And I called mutual friends of ours and said, hey, I need backup right now. I can't do all this in this moment. And I need somebody to help me with this and him too, and to start doing something. And then I calmed down and, and I had to just be there in it. I mean, I didn't have clothes with me or anything. And at least I got to be at the hospital, but it was so many days later that I could even drive home to get, change of clothes. And I remembered a person that I had just reconnected to that I had known a long time ago, and that she lived in the city. And some way, I don't know how I got her phone number, and I went and stayed at her house. So things will be there for you. It's like somewhere when I got out of that and I got grounded, like the answers started coming to me of what my options were. And it was just, and I called her and I happened to get her. She was a Unity minister and she was always busy, but it was like, sure, here, my house is yours, and so though, even when you're in those biggest times like that, you can still, like, the answers can be there for you.
And that's the thing. It's like, if you're willing to see, you will see how supported you are as well at the same time.
Right.
It's like, it's about being opening up your heart to just receive, right? And it's about receiving, because even for us right now, there's a lot of support here that I'm getting, which I was not expecting at all. So it's like, it's a gift and blessing, and it's like, thank you, I'll receive it. But it's always, the universe always has your back, right? And so that's the message I always get too. It's like, even when things are looking bleak and the chips are down and all that wonderful stuff, the universe still always has your back. Somehow, you get through it, or it all works out in some way. So it's like recognizing all of that in the change, and finding that stable place within you. So, like, this morning when I was meditating, I don't know how long I was meditating, but it didn't feel like a very long time. But when I looked up my watch a little bit later, it's like, it's been a while. Didn't even realize. It's like, where did the time go? I didn't even, like, I don't even know where I was, right? But it's like, you can find that stability within yourself, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're experiencing. That stability is there within you if you're willing to, access it, right?
Right.
And I think right now,
and then it's when you get in that, when you ground like that and get in that place, then it's like, then the possibility, you have another vision. It's like, oh, there are options here. Because when we get into that other, there's, it's like being in the water and trying to grab everything you can, instead of just going, okay, let's float.
Yeah.
I could just float right now.
And floating is so much easier and takes a lot less energy than it does all the other stuff, And sometimes that's what you have to allow yourself to just float, and allow, the current to support you, the water to support you, the universe to support you. But but we're not trained to do that, right? We haven't been trained to do that. We're always trained to, like, go do, right? Fix it. Yeah. Right. But there is a time for just floating, and receiving, right? And so even in this time, as we're coming into the new moon tomorrow, it's about, what support, what stability can you receive? And are you willing to receive? And are you willing to see those places within you that are not stable? that you haven't been, allowing yourself to float and, and receive the support, right?
Right.
So, it's an interesting time for all of us because, it's still January 11th, so a lot of people are still thinking about, resolutions and, all that stuff, goals and blah blah blah. But it still does come down to, it's like, you know what makes you stable, because we're going
Right.
to need that sense of stability moving forward. This year is not going to be, hopefully will not be as bad as last year, but it's still not going to be easy peasy either, right? So we need to find that stability within ourselves, and exercise that and access that regularly.
Yeah, there may be just simple things that can make you feel more nurtured, because there's going to, if you're oversensitive to the overwhelm energy that's going to be out there. And
Hmm.
I felt that this weekend, where it's like people were trying to grab onto me. I'm not their light. They're their own light, you
Hmm.
know? And it's like, okay, I'm being oversensitive to overwhelm. What do I do with that? And then that was go into your own light and expand it out. And then you're just like, okay, now I can center and get my own stuff done. It was just interesting. And then it's, I don't want to sound whatever, but it's all in the charts. It's going to be some, especially here in the United States, because United States own chart is being hit really heavy. And they're in other countries are too. It's like the whole world, all of it. But it's the change somewhere in there. You know, we've always had choices of how we go through this expansion, and the consciousness. We're going to go through expansion, and the consciousness is going to, expand
Hmm.
in through this cross consciousness energy. And it's been prophesized forever, we know it. And it's, when we fight it, then it just makes it all, a little bit harder to move through the next, if we want to stay in the old and hold on to things that's not supportive anymore. So
Yeah,
it's that being in that, okay, this is something else, and what's the new thing, and having kind of that spirit of adventure. We've not got to have the spirit of adventure in a way, because we've been, we have felt, people have felt like that's been taken from them.
yeah,
So
for
how
sure.
can you do that within yourself, of, wow, this is, what's going to happen when I go around this curve? What's going to be new, the new insights that are going to be there. And it's not always easy. I'm not saying that it's that easy, but it can be. I mean, I've had it to be that easy. It's like it can be that easy that you just flip into the next awareness.
Well, and it also comes down to, what are you aware of about yourself right now, moving forward, right? And this is not about judging how well we handled last year, or how well we're handling COVID, or how well we're handling anything, but it's about, okay, but now moving forward, how am I? Am I stable? And where can I be more stable? And instead of looking at changing anything or fixing the world or judging what's going on, it's like, all right, what works for me? It's always about you. You are the centerpiece or central point of your universe, right? So it's not always about what's happening out there, but it is about what's happening within you. And if you're reacting to what's happening out there, then it's even more important to come back within yourself and find that center, find that stability, find that, that point within you that is not in overwhelm, but is at peace. And sometimes you have to generate that peace for yourself, for a couple of days before you find it. But it's when there's chaos outside, find the peace within you so that you can now then be a force of peace to radiate out into that chaos, and that's how you will change the chaos, not by creating more chaos. You'll change the chaos outside by being at peace within yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right? So I know that sounds like, okay, those are nice words, and it's not as easy as it sounds either, right? Because when you're trying to find that peace within yourself, the stability within yourself, all of your mental stuff comes up, all your emotional stuff comes up, right? And part of that has to do with you recognizing, you know, who are you, what are you, what are you thinking, what are you feeling, how are you reacting, what is some of that self-talk that you have going on all the time, that mental chatter? Is it working for you? Is it not working for you? Are you kind of like digging your own grave with your mental chatter and your emotional habits, etc. Right? So it's time to look at that and say, okay, you know what? This has not been working because I'm not feeling peaceful. So it's like, okay, what can I do now differently about that? Right? And so,
Right. And mental chatter is it? Is
hey,
it your own,
yeah, yeah. Is it even yours or is it somebody else's? Right? And a lot of times you do have to disconnect from the TVs and the news and all that stuff, because that's just going to, create more fear within yourself, more reactions, within yourself to what's going on instead of you, being at peace and then responding. And peace might be too strong of an emotion for you to feel at the moment, but just at least get to that point
balance,
where, yeah, some sort of
the
balance within
balance.
you.
Yeah. Balance within you. And it might just be walk outside, even it like it's cold here. So what? It's like that shift, the shift in that, in the elements
Hmm.
can like create, the shift. It's like, ooh, like when I,
Automatically, it
go take a
happens.
shower. It's
Yeah,
like shift
exactly.
something in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's like just it's amazing how I didn't feel mental chatter or anything going on, but I didn't know that I had, and I had been watching stuff, so I didn't realize that I had debris on me until I jumped in the shower, and
Yeah.
then I felt it. It's like, oh, I felt that coming out of my field, and so it was like, okay, sometimes we don't have awareness to it till we step into a different place, and then
For
we can,
sure.
then we feel it.
Yeah,
It's
for
like, oh
sure.
wow, right.
Absolutely. And so, and that's the thing. Sometimes you're not aware of it until, much later. So it's like part of that is about, again, always we talk about being present in your body, being grounded, being connected to who you are, being aware of who you are and what you are, and, having those thoughts within you that are yours and not somebody else's. Right. And that takes practice, to be honest. That takes practice. So, I get it. That it's not always, we can't, and we don't always catch it, right away either. That, oh, this is not mine. Oh, it's like, what is this thought? We don't always catch it right away. It might take us a little bit of a conversation with ourselves before we catch it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely, do the shower, do the walking out in nature, drink more water, use essential oils,
That's how I was seeing oils too. Flowers, Bach flowers,
Mhm.
a lot of Bach flowers that are really good
Yeah,
for the subtle bodies to when you're going through stuff, that all of those things, the rattles, tuning forks, any of those tools that you have that way. If you don't have them, then get a pot and bang it.
yeah, or just
Like,
clap your hands around your energy
right.
field.
Yeah. It's amazing how much just that will, shift the energy of stuff
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah. Laugh, find something funny and laugh, just like do all sorts of different things to change your energy once you're aware of, oh, my energy is not exactly great. But it's about getting to that point where you can recognize that, oh, my energy is not exactly great. Right. And so, and then finding that stability, that stable point within you. Because we're going to need that more and more of that stability for ourselves, creating that stability for ourselves, tapping into that stability, accessing that stability as we move forward this year.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
And
So,
so this new moon being on that Capricorn, which is all about that, and that's your first new moon of the year.
mhm.
So it's a time to do the inner reflection of what can I create, more stability
Yeah.
in my life. You know,
Yeah.
if we're shaky, if you are feeling shaky, then it's just an inner reflection of what do you need for support for the long term,
Yeah.
be thinking about it. I don't even know thinking's the right word, but you know what I mean. It's like long term. It might not be the instant thing, but
Yeah.
it's like what will support me long term.
Yeah. And, there's nothing, we always talk about being present here and now, but you also have to plan for the future, right? So you have to do both, right? So, yes, absolutely. Look at the long term. What can support you? What can give you stability? What can give you peace? What can give you more ease in your life, long term? Not just about right now, but moving forward. Yeah, absolutely. Good. Thank you. All right. So you're going to be on the show on Thursday, right?
Yes.
And if you're wondering what show, the Laura Canfield Show, you're going to be on the show on Thursday. Tomorrow we have Teresa V. Wednesday we have Donna Marie Hallisey. And then you on Thursday. What are we talking about again?
We're going to talk about these codes, the difference between reaction and creation. So it's like, actually, I think I named it like the recreation codes, because that's what they were showing me. Maybe even what we've been creating, you know, it's time for this new to come in and connect to this recreation codes. You know, what would you create now?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take them through we call it process. And we'll go into that and then into our own heart lot, and then feel that and feel that expansion from that, so they can have that as their tool, you know, that we can, that's always there with you. And when you drop into that and then you expand that out, then and that's something you carry with you everywhere you go. It's always there. So it's just dropping in and connecting to it. And then what, you know, what's there, what wants to come in and show you.
Beautiful. A beautiful tool to empower you that you can use moving forward. I love it. Yay. Looking forward to that. Good. Anything else you want to share before we go today?
I can't think of anything in the moment.
So obviously, you know, I was just going to say for everybody, you know, tomorrow is a new moon. So do your new moon rituals, you know, new moon meditation, new moon intentions, etc. Put your crystals out. No?
Yeah. You can always do all those things.
Yeah. So do all that stuff, all your spiritual tools, you know, all that wonderful stuff. Good. And just focus on what can you know, do to have more stability moving forward for the long term. That's the key. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, it's just one little thing. Mine is, I know I've been eating too much sugar again. It's like, and I know that, and I keep doing it. I thought, oh, I got to get off the sugar. It's not helping my field, it's not helping me expand.
I'm getting better at eating less. So it's like, I'm not quite 100% there yet, or I now will never be, but you know, like, but I'm eating less. So it's like less sugar. So it's like,
wasn't even doing it. I got addicted on these little, they're like Reese's cups, except they're not peanut butter in the middle. They're peppermint. I got addicted on them. It's like on these little chocolate peppermint cups. I need to like get rid of them, because I keep trying to get rid of them by eating them.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what their ingredients are. It's like, I don't want to know.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, you don't want to know, but you can always just throw them out.
Exactly. Right.
If you really, you know, are strong. All right, everyone. So thank you. So again, ask yourself, what can, you know, bring me stability moving forward for the long term? Do that. Nurture yourself in that way. Okay.
Yeah. Self-nurture.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you. I will
see
everyone. You Thursday.
Yes, see you Thursday. Until next time, everyone, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always.
Yeah, thank you for being the gift to humanity that you are.
All right, everyone. Bye for now. See you next week. Have a great week.